going on, everybody? This is Columbus This Week with Eric and Trevor, and we're bringing you all the latest news, events, stories, etc. that matter to you. And so, Trevor, how are you doing today?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Coffee. No, not too bad. I guess we'll talk about the event, but I had a pretty long day at the Renaissance Fair yesterday, so feeling kind of out of it, I guess, a little bit today, but...
So what kind of Renaissance fair was it? Was it one of the ones that are like super into like, you know, historical reenactment, or is it like the kind where people run around with elf ears on?
It was the kind where people run around with elf ears on, although there are also people running around with jeans on, and there are also people running around with like English Victorian style garb, and this they did. It wasn't the Renaissance. I was the only Italian person there because I actually dressed like Leonardo da Vinci. So,
oy vey. So how many people were dressed like let's say Middle Ages rather than Renaissance?
Very many people. Again, I am quite confident I was the only person dressed for the actual Renaissance. I'm about 95% sure.
Where the fuck did you get Italian like the period clothing?
No, they just have costumes. It's what I wear for Halloween too. It's just like Renaissance man, Leonardo da Vinci.
Gotcha.
It comes with like an easel and like a paintbrush and stuff, but
I see.
I didn't like carry that around. And I felt awkward with it anyway.
Yeah, that'd be a little too pretentious, even for you.
Although it did come with like a little necklace thing, and I had like a little picture of the Mona Lisa in there, just because people obviously wouldn't get that you're just like some guy from the Renaissance running around with like a paintbrush. Like, they'd be like, "Who are you?" Somebody called me Lord Medici, so I ignored him because I was like, "Well, that's not me. I'm Leonardo da Vinci, so that's totally different."
Well, the Medicis were certainly more common.
Prominent.
Yeah, more prominent, more common, if nothing else. There were multiple of them.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun though. I like going to those events. The only thing that kind of sucks about it is once you've they have the same things every year, so once you've gone twice or very many times, it's like the same shows. I don't know. So
Did you get a turkey leg?
No, because I don't eat meat.
Oh, fuck.
But everybody else in my party, I'm going to call them a party. Everybody else in my party
Your
did.
guild?
My guild, yeah. Everybody else did, though. The food, I mean, it's fun to, like, walk around and get food and stuff. It's overpriced, but it's not, like, too overpriced, so...
I always wonder about the elf ears people. Like, what inspires them?
There's some people, they just wear jeans and a t-shirt and, like, a blue hair and elf ears. There's some people who... go all out. There were stormtroopers. Somebody was dressed as a fat Darth Vader. Like
at first I thought you meant like they were Nazi stormtroopers.
No. They were like the future Nazi stormtroopers.
Okay, well, past
future.
Well, long time ago, far away.
Yeah, in a galaxy far away.
Yeah, not present.
Yeah.
All
Although the people who like sell stuff, sometimes they're kind of annoying with like they'll like heckle people, and it's like, dude, that's not cool.
All fairs are like that.
Yeah.
They're like the people who work fairs, I feel like are generally shitty people.
Yeah, they don't know when to like stop. Basically, like this one guy it was like a time traveler themed. So I almost wore my astronaut costume to be like an astronaut. You know, there were some people who were dressed as like Star Trek people, which was I thought that was in good taste because it was like time traveler weekend, but. At the same time, it's like they're violating the Prime Directive, so I didn't know if I should go yell at them or. But yeah, like so they had like this one guy was dressed as he was dressed like a snow stormtrooper guy, and I mean the costume was fine. Like I mean, you know, he's just walking around like just having fun, enjoying himself, and this guy was just like, "You're not even dressed for the battlefield," and like all this stuff. I was like, "Dude, shut up! Like you're an idiot! Like you're not even dressed for the Renaissance! Like you're just like medieval guy, like just medieval guy working at the fair, like." You don't even look like authentic. So,
I mean, so how many Doctor Who-esque costumes?
Oh, there are so many. There were people who they just wore a Doctor Who shirt, and there were people who they dressed in. It was actually a really nice weekend though. It was like the weather it's the best possible weather you could have for an outdoor event. But there were people when they dressed like not the current Doctor. And not the one before him, but the one before what's his name? But the
Matt Smith, David Tennant.
David Tennant. They were dressed as David Tennant. He had like I guess they all had the brown hair, but like the Matt Smith was like he had like a weird face.
Yeah, Matt Smith is quirky as fuck. He's like Lamau random I wear a Fez, doctor.
Yeah. So it was more like the David Tennant style. Whatever. I mean, it's fun. Like I don't care about that. Yeah, that's fine too. So okay. So I don't know if you heard over I think Saturday or maybe it's Friday. I guess for like our introduction topic here today. So Amazon said that they're going to build a second headquarters and house 50,000 employees. So the first thing I thought when I saw that was, oh man, that would be so great if they put that in Columbus. And my friends and listeners here and Trevor, I'm here to tell you that there's like about a 1% chance that would happen. But pray and hope anyway, because it would absolutely transform the city. Like 50, because like Nationwide employs like 16,000, I think, or maybe less. Like at the like downtown office, imagine 50,000 people like moving downtown like to work at Amazon or something.
Yeah, that would be like what? Who are the two biggest employers? That'd be like Chase and.
I think OSU is probably the biggest.
Oh right, fuck.
Yeah. But I mean, still though.
So
like,
yeah, it would be. Like, it would literally be like OSU plus Nationwide combined.
Yeah. So there's very very little chance of that happening. I think. It's not that Columbus is bad. It's just they can choose wherever they want to. Now, if the city/state puts together an incredible like incentive package, like no taxes for 100 years, like kind of crazy package, I think that it raises the chances from like 1 to like 10% maybe.
Like 50%? No, because
if they did no taxes for 100 years, I mean they're not going to do that.
Did you look at Amazon's posting about it? Their marketing like little
some
spiel?
of it, yeah.
So basically, they're just like, all right.
Explain what the. Are you familiar with like what they? So explain like what the. They said they were looking for. Like they wanted a city of this size with X, Y, and Z.
Right. They want a fairly large city. They want to I think they want it to be sort of culturally vibrant. I mean, they had a lot of marketing fluff.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think the biggest thing they want, if you read between the lines, is Amazon wants those sweet tax incentives. Amazon wants free money.
Yeah.
And whoever gives them the most free money, or I mean, I guess put it this way. You're not going to get Amazon in your city unless you're giving them a shit ton of free money.
Yeah.
No matter who wins, they're giving up a ton of money to Amazon.
Yeah. And I think in Columbus that's fine. Cause
here's what I don't think is going to happen though. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Columbus in particular is desperate enough.
They should be though, but
I don't think we're hurting for employment enough. Like you look at our
the unemployment rate here in the city is like 4.2%.
Yeah, so Columbus officials aren't exactly wetting their panties over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think they should be because this is like moving 50,000 tech workers from like Amazon to Columbus it's like a 100-year like storm kind of event. It's this is like a once in a lifetime kind of shot. It would immediately put Columbus in the same ranks as like Austin and Portland and like all those kinds of cities.
Here's the
in terms of national notoriety.
Like as far as desperation is concerned, though, we're not nearly as desperate as other people who are competing.
Right.
I mean, there are a lot of cities who, let's be honest, are worse off than Columbus is as far as that sort of thing goes.
Right.
Like, would you rather? I mean, like honestly, look at somewhere like Phoenix. Phoenix could probably use that sort of influx more than we can.
Oh yeah, I'm not talking about in terms of deserving. I'm just thinking like.
And when
who would get it?
And effectively, just due to populations, it would cost them less too. So I do think that's a big uphill battle for Columbus, just because we have things relatively. I mean, we're relatively well off here.
Yeah, but if you look at what they stated, they were looking for like a large university system, and so we have that with Ohio State, major metropolitan area. So we have that mostly. The biggest area we fail at is the public transportation sector. Yeah. So there's that, and then the other big one is so they were looking. I don't know how much they care about this, but it was like the amenities. So after hearing about that, a lot of people were proposing Denver as like one of the leading candidates. I think they may go to Toronto. Like they're not going anywhere in the Northeast, just because taxes and regulations. Like they're not going to touch any of that.
Yeah,
so that's yeah. Like cities like DC and stuff like that. Like people were talking about, they could move to like Washington DC, and it's like,
why would they?
Yeah. I was same thing like New York. They were like, well, we would welcome Amazon in one of our 5 like boroughs or something like that. And it's like Amazon's not paying those taxes. Like they don't have to. They don't want to.
I do think one thing Columbus does have going for it, and it's sort of uniquely situated in this regard, is that it's very close to a lot of things, and we've talked about this before, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you care about being able to touch relatively quickly the majority of the population of the U.S., Columbus is a pretty good bet.
Mm-hmm.
And some other places are too. Pittsburgh isn't too bad for that.
Indianapolis.
Yeah. Even St. Louis. Although you're getting a little bit away from the coast there, but yeah.
See, that's the other thing too. I think like when they're looking at a city, so Atlanta's probably one of the other like leading cities I've heard.
But yeah, I don't think it's going to be anywhere on the coast.
No, not at all. Unless it's in like the southeast. That's the only like coastal. Because I mean, Atlanta's not on the coast, but it's like it's closer than we are, for example.
Yeah.
But Chicago's another one that I've heard. Austin's one that I've heard. But I like one of the the criteria was like having amenities. So like there's fucking nothing in Austin. I mean, Austin's nice. Like I've been there and everything, and it's like a cool place to hang out. It's like Columbus, but it just has better weather. That's it. I mean, there's nothing to do there other than like, I mean, there's nothing you would do there more than you would do here. There's no mountains. There's no ocean. There's no, no like amenities as they were referring to. So, so I don't know. I don't see it going there. Like people were talking about the Whole Foods thing because like Whole Foods is from Austin, but Amazon doesn't care about that because they own Zappos and that's from Las Vegas. Like they just don't care. So they're looking for the best tax.
Yeah,
package, but
at the end of the day, 90% of this decision is going to be made by money.
Yeah.
Like who's giving Amazon those big fat taxes?
And I think Columbus should say we'll beat any offer and then just go with it because it would absolutely transform the city. Just you wouldn't think it, but like 50,000 high paying jobs injected into like the downtown area because I don't know where else they're going to go. Like some people were saying like New Albany or something like that. They're not.
My first guess would be New Albany, but
yeah, I don't think they're gonna move upper. But I think they'd plant downtown.
So I mean, this is an interesting story. I will say though that even if they promise to outbid everyone else, there's still a chance of something like the Foxconn factory happening.
Oh
and us completely outbidding somebody else and then still being passed over.
Yeah, I mean. It is what it is. For our listeners, don't get your hopes up at all. Well, it won't. So another kind of wild card we have is with like that smart cities, like the smart city stuff.
Yeah.
Like some of that's kind of put us on the map in terms of like reputation, I guess, and then you combine that with like Ohio State's massive. Like some of those factors are kind of like wild cards, I think, but ultimately, like I wouldn't be surprised to see it go to Chicago or Atlanta or Denver or Toronto. Like those are the big 4 cities I think that.
Yeah, if it ends up in Chicago, I don't think I will not be surprised one little iota.
Yeah, I mean I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be disappointed though because it's like I don't know. Like I don't feel like people like Chicago doesn't have an allure that like New York City does. Even though I mean it's a big city, but it doesn't have like.
So I mean it kind of does though. In a lot of ways,
at least not for me. Like I don't think like ooh man, I sure would love to move to Chicago. And they do have good universities with like. Chicago and Northwestern and stuff. But.
I feel like in a lot of ways, though, Chicago is much more powerful than, say, LA.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because if you look, I mean, especially if you look at the arts, typically for the arts, number 1 stop for things is always New York City, and number 2 is almost always Chicago.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, but the only other problem is like the state and that city in particular. Politics is just a huge mess.
I mean, it's
at least Ohio's got its shit together, like comparatively.
I mean, locally, it's probably the most political city, right?
Yeah.
Like DC is all national politics.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, so do you guys, if our listeners have any thoughts on that, feel free. If you send me an email, I'll just give Jeff Bezos a call and let him know what you think. So just go ahead and email me.
Well, should we move on to our events?
Yeah, so we already talked about one of them kind of in depth almost. So the Renaissance Fair is still going on. It's about It's like an hour. You take 71 south, and then you take 73 west, and it's like there's a little like a big village. It's actually one of the biggest Renaissance fairs like in the country. So I don't know. It's a lot of fun. Like you should dress up and go, and if you want to, like get in character and stuff. Like there's, like I mean, it's better than fair food. Like they try more than like the fair does, for example. Like they have like they sell like mead and like all this kind of stuff that you would and I'm doing air quotes here, you would find in like Renaissance, and I'm doing quotes here again because the Renaissance didn't happen in England, but Renaissance England, because that's basically what that place is. But it's going on, I think, until maybe like the end of October or something like that. So pretty fun. And then like I mean, it's fun enough that I just went there, so I wouldn't waste my time if it was stupid. And then another thing that's going on that I think is particularly cool is the Ohio Veg Fest. So up at Goodale Park on September 17th from 10 a.m. to 10 or 6 p.m. or so or something like that. They're having the Veg Fest, so it's like it's like a vegetarian, vegan friendly like food and stuff. So it'd be pretty cool. I mean, like if you like going to farmers markets and stuff like that, I would imagine this would be similarly fun. So
something else that's not quite in Columbus, but is down towards where the Renaissance Fair is happening. Actually, is coming up in a couple of weeks, which is the Paw Paw Fest.
Oh yeah, down in not in Athens, but down in what's that lake called?
So it's down in Albany, Ohio, in at Lake Snowden.
Yeah. So if you want to make a weekend out of it, you can go to Athens, have a lot of fun, like get a hotel room there, go to the Paw Paw Festival, then go back to Athens and like go to Court Street and get out there and enjoy everything.
By the way, have we mentioned that Ohio University is the best university in the galaxy?
We have to have. If not, I don't know. Actually, I don't think we've talked about it. So
I mean, it's a great university.
Yeah,
has two of the best alumni in the world, at least.
That's me and you. Okay, so those are the cool events going on. I guess we'll post a link to the Paw Paw Festival too here.
Yeah, just to give a short description of what it is. So there's a fruit that grows mainly in southern Ohio called the pawpaw.
Yeah,
it's a little odd shaped fruit, and and so we have this big festival dedicated to. I think it's actually Ohio's state fruit.
Maybe.
And so people make beer out of pawpaws. They make like desserts and.
No, it's a tomato.
What?
It's a tomato.
God damn it!
They should have made it the pawpaw though.
Who made it?
No, wait,
tomato?
Wait. Hold on. No, it is the pawpaw.
Thank God.
Yeah. No, I thought it was the tomato. Tomato juice is a state beverage, which is gross.
Disgusting.
Yeah. Like this is like the same people who drink Bloody Marys, and it's just like I feel like I'm just drinking nasty freaking vodka ketchup. Like, get that out of here.
But anyways, pawpaw is an interesting tasting fruit, and it's significantly better in every way than a Bloody Mary or tomato juice. So go down to the Pawpaw Festival.
Actually, tomatoes are the state fruit, but the pawpaw is the state native fruit. So I don't know why they need two. They should just make it the pawpaw. But
I agree.
Whatever.
Then again,
but yeah, so Jacchio's, so if you go stay in Athens, you go to Jacchio's and they make an amazing pawpaw wheat beer, which is like 9% alcohol and delicious. So.
Yeah. And you'll see a lot of pawpaw inspired or pawpaw flavored beers down at the Pawpaw Fest as well.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, just generally like pawpaw food and stuff. And you can actually Lake Snowden's really it's pretty beautiful. So you can just like take a camper down there or take a tent or something, hang out, and just drink a bunch and eat pawpaws all day. So
yeah, fun time.
Cool. So event-wise, going into community stuff. So this actually, I just heard about this, I think today or maybe yesterday. So I don't know if you're, well, I can tell that you're sitting because I can see you. But for our listeners, if you're not sitting down right now, you better sit down and prepare for like this hurricane of an announcement. Legoland is opening at Eastern Town Center.
You say Eastern?
Eastern
Town Center.
Easton.
I thought they had a Lego store.
No, they have a Lego store. They don't have a Legoland.
What the fuck's Lego?
So Legoland is like Legos, but like a theme park, like Discovery Legos. Like it's just like it's the Lego store on steroids.
Well, like how big is it?
Well, I mean, it depends on.
Well, like store. You say a theme park.
Well, it's not like it's not an actual theme park. It's just like they'll put like a Lego giraffe outside.
Okay,
like an actual, real size Lego giraffe. And
this
then
sounds
it's
like kitschy bullshit.
No. It's like, it's like the Lego store, but just like times 50.
But the Lego store sucks.
Yeah, but times 50, it doesn't suck.
Well, if something sucks, you're just making it suck 50
No.
times more.
No, it's like Lego. It's like the Lego store plus 50 then. So, anyway, there's only a few of these in the United States, so you guys should be all like. Actually, there's only a few in the world. So there are 2 in Germany, and you can see this for yourself. 7 in the United States, 1 in Japan, 1 in the United Kingdom, 1 in Canada, and soon to be 1 at our very own Easton Town Center. So you can wake up in the morning, drive to Easton, spend all day at Legoland, go to the bars, get drunk, and then you can go to the comedy club or something. Or you can go back to Legoland and harass kids. Probably not the harass kids part, but that would be kind of funny.
Legos are overpriced.
They are, but Legos are pretty great. They contributed significantly to my childhood development.
So that explains
but it's like
a lot.
so on the actual Legoland, like their website, they describe it as the ultimate indoor Lego playground. So I'm looking here. So I'm going to pull up the the Michigan one, Lego school trips, the Discovery Center. Adults must be accompanied by a child. They have adult night events. They have 12. This one in Westchester, wherever the heck that is, has 12 different like attractions. They actually have rides and stuff.
Best policy I've heard from them. Adults must be accompanied by a child.
But I don't know. I don't know. It's cool. I mean, it's better than the Lego store they have there now. It's like,
I guess because that place is shitty.
Yeah.
I walked in there and it's just like buy a bunch of Lego pieces. Thanks.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I have a fondness for Legos. I don't really care about the rides or anything, but at the end of the day, it's more stuff in Columbus.
They really appeal to a certain specific demographic of
cool kids,
of nerds, and
I have a Lego thing at my desk at work.
Yeah, like I said, they appeal to a specific demographic of nerds, and I'm just not a part of it. I might be nerdy as fuck, but I don't play with Legos.
Yeah, Legos are great. I have my Lego B-Wing, Star Wars B-Wing. It was like $80, but it's totally worth it. It actually shoots like the little plastic lasers.
I might have like hundreds of dice for tabletop, but I don't have fucking Legos.
Yeah, you gotta be a non-discriminatory nerd. You can't just like discriminate against the Legos.
They're boring as fuck, dude. Anyways, let's move on to the next topic.
So, and kind of related news, you mentioned something earlier about the airport too, so maybe you can add that in here too. But so Southwest is going to add service directly from Columbus to Cancun, which is pretty cool because right now you have to stop in either like Charlotte or Atlanta or Houston or something like that. So that's pretty cool. We need more international flights in the city, just in general. It still sucks we don't have like direct flights to places like Seattle, but having a direct flight to Cancun will be pretty cool. So
yeah, so it looks like it's being predicted right now by a bunch of sort of local reporters that we're also likely to get a direct flight to Europe soon too. Because I don't know if you know this, but of the 3 major cities here in Ohio, Columbus is the only one that doesn't have a direct flight to Europe.
Really? No,
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yep, Cincinnati does, and so does
Why do they?
so does Cleveland.
Yeah, it's just like with rock concerts and stuff. They go to Cleveland and Cincinnati, and they don't come to Columbus because Columbus is like in the middle, so they I don't know, they skip it or something. It's really annoying, but
Yeah, just throw away an audience of 2 million people.
yeah. Speaking of that, I'm surprised that there isn't one for Tokyo or like somewhere in Japan already because of Honda and all that stuff. I guess they probably just fly private jets.
We also have a massive Indian population. There's no direct flight to India either.
Yeah.
Just give it time, I think.
Yeah. I do like I did like that they renamed the airport. Well, I didn't like the Columbus part of it, but renaming it like the John Glenn International Airport is nice versus just Port Columbus. Like, okay, like Port Columbus, like port, like random place in Brazil or something. It's just stupid and tacky. All right, so moving on, some other stuff that's kind of going on in the community. So we have all the Smart Columbus stuff going on. So here's one, and I think you're gonna not like it. If I don't know how familiar you are with it, but so AEP, American Electric Power Company, wants to build like $20 million worth of car charging stations sounds good, right? Just on the face of it, just
No,
like, oh, they're
no.
gonna they're gonna build these car charging stations.
Doesn't
It sounds
sound
good. Yeah, why would that not be good?
Sounds neutral. Like
No, that sounds good.
if-
Like you want car charging stations so
No,
people can quit driving around these combustion idiot machines.
if I don't hear implementation details, I'm not going to support it.
No, it just sounds good. Anyway, now here's where it doesn't sound good.
Oh look,
It's-
implementation details that suck.
Yeah. So anyway, they like, according to the article, they want customers to pay for it. So I think, basically, they want to raise rates. So so this is a bit of a tangent, but I'm not kidding. I got a flyer in the mail earlier this week, and it was like, if you want to, so I now have the option through AEP to switch all my electricity to renewable, like, electricity for the low flat rate of $5 a month. Like, no, that's you're the electric company. Like, that's your problem. You do that. Like, that's, I mean, if I have to pay for the electric, if I have to like pay to get renewable energy, like, why are you even a company? Like, the state should just take you over then. Like that. I mean, that's stupid. It's already a public-private, company. Like, why are they trying to have me pay for them to like develop stuff? Like, that's your business. Like, you pay to invest in technology.
So here's what's happening. Renewable energy is more expensive than non-renewable energy. Certain customers feel morally outraged, or at least that they should that they morally would prefer.
I take issue with your statement that non-renewable energy is cheaper because it's only cheaper on paper. It's not cheaper when you take into account the effects on the environment.
Well, how are you going to?
I don't have the measurements for, like, I don't have a
gonna
link right now or anything like that. But I think if you take into account pollution, global warming, all that kind of stuff, it actually is not going to be cheaper.
I think people make ridiculous assumptions in order to make that case, right? Like, they're just like, all right, let me take all the value of all of these coastal properties that are worth tens of millions in Tampa or whatever.
No, I'm just saying, like,
them.
look at like the hurricane destruction. Like, if storms get more powerful and then cities get wiped out and like things get destroyed. Like, I mean, that's a direct effect of global warming. Then
the
pollution, like
the
breathing in
hurricane's
air,
not a
getting
direct
cancer.
The hurricane's not a direct effect of global warming, though.
Well, if they get more powerful because of global warming, then it is, like, by like saying it is. Like, I mean, if hurricanes get more powerful because of global warming, then global warming is making the hurricanes. I mean, you're saying A is A. I'm just saying, I don't know if they are, but I'm just saying, like, that's an example.
And that's a big if. And I actually, this is a bit of a tangent, but I did want to discuss this as a topic. Somebody wrote an article that said it should be illegal to deny global warming. And
well, I don't think it should be illegal. I think you should just be socially ostracized and ridiculed and fired from your job and forced to live in like a shack or something.
And they weren't. And honestly, they weren't even making that case. They were basically saying that if you deny science, you should be charged with like incitement.
Yeah, so that's stupid because like then you would just. I mean, you'd have to start charging like people who believe in religion to like for inciting violence. And it's like, as much as I don't like religion, you can't just.
Are we? If we enacted that policy in the 1910s, we would be saying that the phrenology, the scientific study of the differences between races based on like people's skull cavities, we would be saying if you speak out against that, then you're trying to incite anti-science rhetoric, and we need to fine you.
Yeah, that's obviously really stupid. Like I think. I mean, in America, you should be as free as you want to say as much stupid stuff as you want. The problem is when those stupid people get elected, and then they like make laws. That's where the issue is. It's like I don't mind like some harmless idiots just sitting around saying, "Oh, global, like the government's creating hurricanes and like all this kind of obviously stupid stuff." But when you actually can like interject that into public policy, where it's like, oh well, we're just gonna pretend global warming's not a thing or something stupid like that. That's like an actual problem. But anyways, so beside the implementation details, I don't really mind this with the companies. We were with AEP like investing to open up these like these charging stations, but I'd rather them just not do it if they're gonna like try to charge their customers. Like, you're a business, are you gonna? It's just it just drives me crazy because it's like, then just don't do it and then just go out of business. I guess like that should be like, So just in abstract, I guess, like if a company's like, well, we're not going to invest in a technology unless our customers pay for it, then then the customer, like in an actual market environment, the customers like either value that or they don't. But with a public-private entity like the electric grid and like electric companies, you don't really have that choice. Like AEP can just, hey, here you go. Here are these bills because we're spending more money to make more money later. That's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily know if I agree. I do think that if you're going to have this pseudo monopoly that we have with AEP because efficiency. So if you're going to have that entity exist and you have this, let's call it a contentious issue because I think it is. Having people choose to self-fund whether or not, or whether choose to self-fund these contentious advancements, I think is perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, but they're not. That's the problem. They're just saying everybody has to pay for it.
Wait, what do you mean? Like you don't have the choice to pay the $5 or no?
No, that's a different thing. They were so they were saying I'm talking about the charging stations. So AEP wants to put like $20 million for the charging stations, which is a separate issue from like buying all your renewable energy from AEP.
I thought you were still talking about the $5 thing.
No, that's my fault. But but I mean even for the $5 thing, like I mean, it's just really stupid. It's like I don't know. I'm just not a fan of like having public-private companies like that because then they can do things like that.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, they exist though.
Well, yeah, so we should make them not exist. But even so, like in German Village, a lot of people were pretty angry that Columbia Gas wanted to go install like all these meters like outside the homes. They look like really ugly and all this stuff. But it's like you didn't have a choice. But they're also a private company, so like fuck off. I mean that's what I don't like about it. I don't because it's like you're getting the public to enforce what the private company wants to do. So if the city owned the company, like let's say Columbia Gas, and then they wanted to put in the meters, I think that's a different discussion versus like so okay, screw it, like Columbia shut off my gas, like I don't want a meter. I don't think the residents even have that option. I think Columbia is just going to do it anyway.
Yeah, I think the solution might actually be to just have the public take over those entities.
Yeah. I feel like it's like Obamacare, like you get the worst of both worlds with it. So, all right. So so I do think it's a good thing to build more car charging like stations in general because as we like one of the things we talked about before with like living in an apartment complex, like I don't have anywhere to charge. Like if I wanted to buy an electric car, like that's my biggest impediment is like I have nowhere to charge it. So building more of those is good because then you can charge more cars. And I don't mind paying to charge my car, whatever like a reasonable, electric grid rate is or whatever. Preferably I like to do that in my house because most of my electric bill is just paying the normal fees and stuff. But charging customers to build something so that you can make money. I mean, I guess you can do that, but then you should be a private company doing that, not a public-private company. But
I think the charging thing is ultimately going to be solved by the market. It's not going to be solved by sort of demanding that customers pay more. Like that's not how the vast majority of these charges are going to.
I mean that's what they're saying, but
when economic incentive is created, then they're going to be up everywhere because everyone wants to make money.
Well, kind of. I mean, it something like like electric cars, for example. It's in a weird spot because customers don't actually see the real impact of buying a car, maintaining the roads, gasoline, like all that stuff. Like gasoline is like all that stuff subsidized as far as I'm concerned. So like it's not just like an open market. It's not like you have all these companies just competing with like alternative stuff. It's like an infrastructure thing. So it's inherently public and private, and so there's political involvement, and then there's people with opinions that are involved in it and all this stuff, and it's just not it's just not an open market competition. It's not like the market's not just deciding this. It's private companies, but it's also elected representatives and other people.
I think the thing is though, eventually it's going to get to the point where you can't fight the market, right? As the percentage of electric cars goes up, eventually you just cannot fight the market. There's too much money and capital.
Well, kind of. I mean, the thing is, like,
capital is going to dominate everything eventually.
I mean, I largely agree, but the problem is, like, I mean, I just can't buy an electric car because there's no infrastructure. And so if like I can't build my own infrastructure, like I'm not allowed to, even if I wanted to, I'm not allowed to like, buy an electric charging station and put it on the street and like put it outside. Like even if I lived in the suburbs, like God forbid I do that. But even if I did that, like I can't just put like an electric charging station in my like on my front yard. I mean, I can hook it up in my house, I guess, which is good. Like if you have like a Tesla and stuff, you can do that. But if you live in an apartment complex, you live downtown or anything like that, like you can't just set one up or like run a big power cable from like your wall outlet to like outside, like hang it down for like you'd be breaking fire codes and like all kinds of stuff. So
well, so you can, but I think other people, I think other people can, and I think what you're going to see happen is you're going to see this sort of weeble wobble kind of walk towards, and you're already seeing it towards electrics.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen is there's going to be a few more charging stations thrown up, which is going to cause a few more people to buy electrics, which is going to cause a few, and so that's the slow crawl of progress that I think we're actually going to see.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be any miracle cure by any one company to make electrics viable via infrastructure.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on because we kind of beat that to death. Good thing the Legoland one was shorter. So here's another kind of interesting article. It's sort of the same vein. So I don't know if you know. Are you familiar with the Ohio Capital Fund?
No.
All right. So
tell me about it.
It started in 2003. Basically, they use it to fund like do seed stage investments in like companies or whatever. So apparently, their investments aren't doing very well, and they're asking for like $15 million in taxpayer money, and they're based in Cincinnati, so that they can like make payments this year for their debt or something like that. I am really really annoyed that the state has like set up a venture fund, and then they have it managed by some stupid company. And then that company is just like, yeah, like we sucked at our job and like we need more money.
Why would the state do it directly?
I mean, it's because
or how would the state do it directly? I mean, what would be?
I don't know. Just hire some people. You just hire people and then just do it yourself. Like, why do you need to contract that out to a stupid company who has no they don't have any interest in like they don't give a shit about the public. They don't care about public funds other than getting them.
So what's their incentive?
Make as much money as they can and subsidize their losses by the taxpayer. So
what's their model for that?
Just invest companies and then keep doing it and keep convincing people to give them money.
So I mean, so my question, my bigger question is, how does their behavior, or how is their behavior going to differ than if the same equivalent group of people were paid by the government?
Well, I'll just vote for somebody to like axe the program.
Oh, I mean, why can't you axe the program now?
I don't know. They just can't, I guess.
I mean, they're asking for money, which means they're going to run out of money, which is essentially the same as axing
but it's
the
like
program.
A public-private thing, too. So it's not like... It's different, whereas, like... So, like some, I don't know, state representative, like, if I have a bunch... Let's say there's a bunch of those, and... Oh, there are. And then they vote and say... I don't know, we want to create this thing. Like, this we're going to create this Ohio investment fund. There might be one, but like we're going to manage it, etc., etc. Like there's public accountability for it, whereas like this public-private thing, the private company can just like take the money and walk away. They're just like, yeah, well, it failed, like whatever. We just got paid a bunch of money and then we're just done with it.
I think the idea of accountability in the government is one that's, while it's laudable, I don't think it ever ends up really playing out anyways. So I'm not.
I mean, maybe, but
I'm not super impressed when people want to publicize something just for the purposes of accountability, because there are lots of corrupt and unaccountable things in the government. Like that doesn't. The government isn't a silver bullet to fix that.
Well, yeah, I don't disagree with that, but it's better than which is fine. So have a private entity do those investments, and then okay, like I don't care. Like go out of business, make money, don't care.
Yeah.
But I don't want to like I don't want to pay. I don't want this company failing and then asking for more tax dollars and saying, oh, well, like if we don't get the money, we're going to go out of business. And
I mean, they can ask whatever they want, and we're free.
I mean, I guess, yeah, I don't know. I guess the like representatives could not give it to them, and then
I think
I can vote those in or out. But like, why do we even need the private company then? Like, just do it directly.
Well, I mean, I guess the one of the advantages is the company presumably already existed.
Yeah, but then just buy the company. I mean, I just don't like. To me, there's no real barrier.
Is
like,
the government able to just buy companies?
Yeah,
I didn't
pretty
realize
sure they can.
I didn't
I don't
realize
know.
that was an option.
I mean, I'm sure they can. Like, you can just at some level you can abstract it away enough that you can just buy a company. Like, you just pass a law and say, oh well, we can buy a company now.
All right, fair enough.
But, I don't know. I don't know. It's the same thing with the AP. Like, I just don't like public-private.
I don't think in this case the difference really matters. Like, I don't see there being a large functional difference. I think they
maybe not a large functional, but
I think they would have fucked up either way, and they would have asked for money somehow either way,
Yeah.
and that's the end of it.
yeah. All right. So, moving on. I found an interesting Reddit thread on the Columbus subreddit. Let me read you the title. Okay.
Is this the one where people stalked this old couple and like these three
No.
old people?
What?
So somebody found this old ass photo. This is a complete tangent, but somebody found this old ass photo on the Columbus subreddit, and then like everyone went into fucking like internet detective mode, and there were like 1,100 comments on this Columbus subreddit
Really?
thread.
Oh, I did
yeah,
not see that.
and everyone was trying to like figure out who these people were. This guy literally just found this photo like 12 years ago and stuck it on his fridge, and decided to ask the internet for help identifying these people.
Oh, that's funny. No, did not hear about that.
So this isn't it. Okay. All right. Well, shoot.
All right. So here, it's hard for me to say this without laughing. So here's the thread title. And so in case readers or listeners, I don't know why I keep calling them readers. I guess maybe they're text to speech or speech to text. But for listeners, so we go on Columbus subreddit sometimes to find stories, just because like you get some good stuff on there. So this one was it wasn't like a story; it was just like a big comment. So the guy goes, "I make over $60K a year, and I still can't afford to live anywhere downtown. Where are these 30,000 plus people working who are moving there? Question mark! Exclamation point or whatever." And then somebody was so basically I don't know. We could talk about just the title over here.
Oh yeah,
guess,
so
but,
I did see this. I did actually mean to bring this up as a topic.
So yeah, oh yeah. So this guy goes. So he has like these. He had an edit and he had these 5 points and he said, finally, my actual question was, where are these people working? I have a mid-level IT job that tops out at $75K, and even then I couldn't comfortably pay $2,000 in an apartment the same size I am renting now for nearly a third of that. So the first thing I have to say is, yes, just as you can't pay $2,000 for an apartment the same size as blah 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 when you're living in the middle of nowhere, just it's the same thing as like you can't afford to do that in New York. Like, I mean, you're paying for the convenience of living downtown. You're paying for, like, it's a luxury. Like, you're living in the city. Like, you get to walk outside your house and like there's all these cool hip restaurants. You live close to work. You can walk there. Like, that's a luxury, and I don't know why people don't get that, but.
I mean, my biggest point is if he's making $75,000 a year and he can't budget properly in order to buy a fucking like $100,000.
No, not even buy, just rent. Like, the guy can't even rent. Like, just rent a room with somebody. Like, how hard is it?
He said $2,000 a month. Like, if you can't,
you could easily afford. You could rent a 2-bed, 2-bath. You could buy a place too. So to your point, you could buy a place, but I don't know if that'd be a good idea, but. You can rent a place, a 2-bed, 2-bath, 2-bed, 1-bath, 1-bed, 2-bath, whatever the heck you want for under $2,000 a month easily downtown. Like, if you were to Nationwide, you could rent a place across the street for that. So I don't know what this guy's complaining about.
I think he's terrible with money. That's the only thing that actually makes sense in my head.
Yeah, and then a lot of people were asking for his budget. I don't know if the guy ever posted it. There was a whole bunch of like comments on this, and so this like guy goes, let's see.
Some people are just stupid with money, I think.
Yeah,
like so, that's the only reasonable explanation for this man saying he couldn't afford, a place downtown if he made $75,000 a year.
Yeah, you can easily do that.
Columbus isn't that expensive.
So the guy said 2-bed, or said $2,000 a month or whatever. So somebody else said, I have a friend that lives on in 250 high, $1,700 a month for 1-bed, 1-bath or something plus parking. Yeah, so like I get that that's expensive, but you're living like in the short north. So
yeah, I was gonna say $1,700. That's like short north area.
Yeah, so I mean I just don't understand like what people are. Yeah, I just don't get it.
That's actually close to Mill.
Yeah, So
So yeah, right in the middle of things, and you're not even paying $2,000 a month.
yeah. So here's some other comments. I live in the short north on $60K a year and do just fine. Really, you can't afford to live anywhere. And it's this person found all these listings. And we'll link this too, so you can go read through the fun for our listeners. But yeah, it's like, I mean, if you just even if you had a one, like, no, I don't know if it's a good idea to do that, but you can definitely afford to do that, you know? So, I mean,
Guys, just bad with money. I think that's all there is to it.
yeah. Yeah, so some guy goes, I just lived in New York City for 2 years. My rent was $6,000 a month for 1 bed, 1 bath. That's crazy. Well, I guess it might not be for there. If you were making the equivalent, like, salary, whatever. But
I mean, yeah, those like the Trump, what do you call them? Like the Trump Tower, like suites, the ones you could rent per month or whatever. They were like $10,000 a month or $12,000 a month.
yeah.
So, New York City, man.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. I think what's happened is you just have these people who live in the suburbs and think that, like, oh well, I pay $1,200 a month for a 2-bedroom, 3-bath house, and I live in, like, I don't know, Reynoldsburg, and it's like, yeah, you live in Reynoldsburg. That's why it's cheap. Like, I mean, why is that hard to understand for people? I don't know.
All right. Well, should we move on?
Yeah. So I guess this is going to be bigger news, a lot bigger news than this affordable housing crisis for people who are living in the middle class. So the Equifax breach. So everybody had their credit card information compromised, or not
Potentially.
I would just count it as you had your stuff hacked. So I wouldn't even take any chances with it. But for our listeners who may not know, I think, well, from what I've been reading, it happened like a month ago, and then nobody said anything about it. But Equifax is one of the big 3 credit agencies or whatever that give you a credit score.
Yeah, Equifax, TransUnion, and then Experian.
Yeah. So basically, they had social security numbers, address, in some cases driver license numbers, first name, last name, birthday, anything that matters.
Yeah, a lot of personally identifiable information.
They said was potentially, air quotes here, 143 million Americans were affected by this. So, man, it's just so irritating. I don't know why. Like, I can't stand it. Like, we have to trust these companies with our information. It bothers the crap out of me. But,
credit scores are a weird place where, like, you should have no reason to give them any non-critical info, but they have a lot that I don't think they should. Like, why the fuck do they have your driver's license number?
Yeah, I mean, the real question is, like, I don't trust. Like, I don't care what they know. Like, why? I mean, why are they allowed to have this information? Like, I don't want them to have it. Like, can I opt out of it? I don't.
One good thing I think you're seeing come out of Europe more and more is this idea that you own your data.
Yeah,
which doesn't happen in the U.S. at all.
Not yet, but we might get lucky one of these days.
Maybe. It's a big maybe.
Yeah, it's like the same. I think it's even a lower probability than Amazon coming to Columbus. But yeah. So anyway, I can say almost unequivocally you were hacked if you're listening. So you should probably set up. Don't go buy those credit card, like Life Hack or whatever, like, or Life Keeper or whatever that thing's called, like, where they, like, do the paid credit monitoring or whatever. Yeah. Like, don't pay for any of that. That stuff's just a racket. It's almost as bad as a racket as what I'm about to tell you to do, which is to go freeze all your accounts. So for the big 3, you can go online. You have to pay $5, which, again, so this is a racket, but I don't know what else to do. So, and then you, like, freeze your account so nobody can open up anytime somebody tries to do, like, a new like a credit check. So if somebody tries to open up a bank account or something like that, and then they try to use one of these, so the bank will try to use one of these services to pull your credit. If you have a freeze on there, they can't. Like, they just can't do it. So they can't open up any new accounts. Period. And then, but these companies will give you, like, this PIN number or whatever, and it's, like, literally like a PIN number. You have to go and, like, unlock your account. So if you lose the PIN number, I don't know what happens, but you should. It's like $15 total to, like, do for the big 3. should probably do it.
I'm not gonna do it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, the only thing I'm worried about, like, I don't care if somebody opens up a new credit card because, like, that's not my problem. But what I do care about is if somebody opens up a new bank account and then does an ACH transfer and just like, all right, see you later, cash, like, because that's like that's my actual money. So I don't give a shit about credit cards, but you know.
On the other hand, I keep liquid cash low, pretty low, and keep it tied to investments, and they're not going to be able to access my investments or anything.
Why wouldn't they?
How would they?
I mean, if you have like a Vanguard account, like why would they not be able to do that? They can just do the same. It's no different than opening a bank account. They're just like, hey, I'm Trevor. Here's my driver's license. Here's my social security number. Here's my date of birth. Here's my email address. Here's my phone number, etc., etc. I mean, if you have two-factor authentication set up, like, I think that's some measure of deterrent. But I mean, there's no reason that they can't use that same information to do stuff like that.
How would that not fall on Vanguard?
I mean, it could, but you know, it's still like a hassle, you know.
Yeah, I would assume though.
I'm just saying, like, I just don't like. I just want to assume anything's safe. Is all I'm saying.
I see.
Yeah. Like, yeah, like they'll probably like recoup you. I think actually Vanguard has a stated policy that they will, like, if somebody defrauds you, that they'll like take care of it. But you know, I don't know if it's, you know, but if it's $15, like, I'm not gonna run any credit checks anytime soon, so I don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, more than the $15 though, it just seems like a lot of work for something that's probably not going to come to fruition.
No, it's really easy actually. So I'll give them that credit. It's like you just go on there and you just enter like your information, and then just like, all right, here's what's the credit card, and you're just like, here you go. So, but then again, I don't really trust them with that information. But whatever, it's all screwed out. It's all screwed now anyway. So whatever.
So what's the big takeaway from this?
That credit card. So don't pay for LifeLock or whatever it is, because that's just a big racket. And then all these credit card or these credit score agencies are they're just a big racket too. So.
All right.
Okay. Well, are you ready to move on to that was the only tech news I had. There wasn't really anything else interesting that happened that I thought. So we just have a feature. Do you want to?
So the headline for this feature is Title IX system pushed schools to overreach against sexual assault, DeVos says. And so essentially what's happening is Betsy DeVos is making a push to...
Who is she? For our listeners who are educated. So yeah, I just insulted them.
Head of the Department of Education for the Trump administration, for the current executive branch.
Yeah.
So essentially, she's trying to sort of undo the not undo the actions of Title IX itself, because you see that a lot in reporting, and I think that's a misstep. But she is in particular trying to get schools to push back against the Dear Colleague letter that was published by Barack Obama during his presidency.
Okay.
So for those of you who don't know, the Dear Colleague letter basically specified that in order to receive federal funding, colleges had to make an active effort to sort of judiciate against students who defend students in cases of sexual assault. And so what this has basically amounted to in most universities is that they have their own special sort of councils or tribunals or whatever you would like to call them, or judiciaries, wherein the accused is tried by the university for the crime of sexual assault or rape or harassment or what have you. Mm-hmm. And this is ruled to fall under the Title IX laws.
Yeah.
So essentially, what happens though is
they just kind of set, like, the schools basically set up these like quasi legal
tribunals.
Okay.
So what I would call them is kangaroo courts. Now that's not very charitable, but the reason I do that is because you don't really have innocent until proven guilty. You don't even have the preponderance of the evidence as in deciding rulings, which is what you have in civil cases.
And then on top of that, so Title IX is a law that prohibits discrimination based on sex. in education, which is admirable, and I can't believe that we even have to have a law that says that.
Well,
but
so Title IX was implemented in the 70s when women, despite the fact that women could go to college, women were like between 38 and 42% of the student body on average.
Yeah.
The ironic thing, though, is that that now that's flipped on its face. Women are 59% of the.
Oh, is it really that high?
Yeah, I was really surprised to find out because even when we went to school, it was like 56.
Yeah.
So, it's almost the opposite of when Title IX was put into place. But that's an aside.
Yeah.
So my main objection to the sort of the Dear Colleague letter by Barack Obama was that it's a violation of due process. You're basically charged twice for the same crime.
Yeah. So there's like I've heard it, like, I mean, I guess in like sports and stuff. Well, I mean, this isn't the same, but I've heard like. So, even I know you don't follow this, and I don't really care that much either, but just because of paying attention to college football, if I go to ESPN, it's all over the place. But like Ezekiel Elliott, who went to OSU and won us a national title, so he's also the man. But he was clear, so like he was accused of, I think, not sexual abuse, but like beating a woman or something like that, which is obviously horrible, but he was found innocent of that. But then the NFL was like, yeah, you violated like this stuff, we're suspending you for 6 games. So like even though in the court of law he was deemed innocent, I have no facts on that, I'm just taking what they said. So even though in the court of law innocent, the NFL was still like, yes, you're being punished for this crime that wasn't even a thing. Like in the court of law it says it's not a crime. So
yeah, so this is exactly the same case with education basically. You have actual legal cases, which criminal cases, in which there's a very high standard of evidence, and oftentimes people, there's not enough evidence to convict a person, and so largely I think the purpose of the sort of Dear Colleague letter is to sort of engage in punitive damages against people who otherwise there's not enough evidence to convict.
Yeah, which
is nonsense.
Yeah, I feel like it's a constitutional right violation.
Yeah, I mean it looks like a violation of due process, right? Because you're essentially being punished. I mean, you're essentially being potentially punished twice for the same crime.
Yeah. So, and it's even more pronounced when it's a public institution too. They have absolutely no excuse. Like I mean, I don't really. So on the other hand, though, I don't have a problem with them setting up like codes of conduct, but I think I care less when it's a private institution. So if Harvard wanted to set up some stupid, or not, I don't say stupid, I guess, but some tribunal, just because I generally am not a fan of those things, so that's why I call it stupid. But so if Harvard, or even like a BYU, for example, like people get expelled for having sex before marriage or something like that.
Or Liberty's really bad about that.
Yeah, but it's a private institution, so I don't really care. Like, if they want to have some code of conduct, and if people find that code of conduct agreeable or abhorrent, then go or don't go there. But it's at a public institution, my tax dollars are paying for it, and I think that's a totally different case.
And this is the big thing too, because this is what it all centers on. Because the whole purpose of the Dear Colleague letter is that in order to receive federal funding, you must, right? That is the wording we're talking about. We're talking about in order for you to get federal dollars, you have to be proactive, which has been interpreted as you must sort of do this double jeopardy trying of people.
Right.
And so the only places where this actually matters are the places that are publicly funded.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous as a taxpayer.
Well, I mean, do things like grants for like the National Institute of Health, for example, like does that count as being publicly funded? Because if so, then that basically brings in almost every university in the country.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you know. I mean, it's worth knowing, I guess, or worth discussing.
I bet though they're talking about direct funding, which a lot of universities receive a lot of.
Right.
But
I mean, like Ohio State's in like the state budget, so.
But one thing I wanted to talk about is sort of the reaction and the pushback to this, because I find it absolutely astounding and appalling. I think the biggest response to this is basically oh, Betsy DeVos wants rapists to run wild on campus and wants to make rape legal.
Yeah,
And that's absolutely fucking crazy.
Yeah.
No politician wants to let rapists run free.
Yeah, even as much as like people hate Trump and I don't like him, he's not like a fan of rape. Like, I mean, even if you find him disgusting, for example, I guess just to use him, he's not like going around advocating rape. You know, like nobody does that. Nobody sensible could possibly do that.
I mean, the whole issue here is whether or not. I mean, I think the actual crux of the issue here is whether or not we should be treating people. I mean, or I guess whether we should have a low standard of evidence for rape.
Yeah.
I think that's if I mean people try to politicize this all kinds of ways.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, that's the real driving force behind it, because
sure.
I think there are some people who think as far as rape is concerned, it should have its own special category, and you should be guilty until proven innocent.
Right, which I completely disagree with, because, like, for example, murder is a far more serious crime than rape is. Why would you have? I mean, why would you?
A lot of people would also argue it's not.
No, they're absolutely unequivocally incorrect. At the end of the day, even if you were raped, you're alive. So, there's just no discussion to be had with somebody who thinks something so stupid as that. I mean, that's all there is to it. I don't think. I mean, if you disagree, then I just don't have anything to say about it other than you're just wrong. And if you're listening and you find that for some reason, so if you're like one listener and you're like thinking that I'm wrong for saying that murder is a worse crime than rape, then like just stop listening to our podcast, because I don't want you to listen because you're stupid. So, you know, you can't have different standards for different crimes. Like, if you have evidence, it's evidence. If you have a crime, it's a crime. Like, it doesn't. It just doesn't matter. Like, you can't have
right. But then the response is, well, now you're not believing the victim.
I don't believe anybody. So, like, if you think that, you don't believe the victim, like, I just don't believe anybody. Like, your default shouldn't be to believe, like, just take somebody's word. Your default should be like, okay, so you said this, now where's the evidence? I mean, that's the way the judicial system is supposed to work, and that's how law and order works. So if you want to live in like quasi idiot land, then I guess go ahead, but just leave the United States, because this is a country based on the rule of law, and we have these constitutional rights because we respect those rules of law. So if you don't like it, then like maybe you would like to have the Spanish Inquisition come hang you for being a witch. I mean, that's the same thing. Somebody's just like, oh, she's a witch, and then you get burned at the stake. Like, that's the same kind of stupid stuff.
Gotta listen and believe. Who are you to disagree with this person who's offended by your witchdom?
Yeah, it's stupid.
How dare you? So, anyways, I think this is an actual good thing to come out of the Trump administration.
Sure. Yeah.
Overall, I don't know if I'd call it a great administration, but honestly, I think the majority of the things we've seen come out of the education department haven't been bad.
Yeah, I haven't really been keeping tabs on stuff. I like this, for example. I wasn't very well versed in it. I mean, I know what Title IX is and all that stuff, but I wasn't I didn't know everything that was going on with like the current state of affairs with the educational department or Title IX or any of this stuff. So.
I guess thinking about it, I think it makes sense. If there's, I mean, there are certain spheres I definitely don't want conservatives stepping into, because I think they can do a lot of harm and not do a lot of good.
Science,
right? Oh, I was thinking energy, but yeah, like science.
Yeah, energy policy as well, I think.
But
yeah,
but as far as as far as education is concerned, especially at the collegiate level, I think I think there's been a lot of damage done by the Obama administration, especially as far as sexual assault on campuses goes.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point, the president quoted the 1 in 5, collegiates are rape number, which is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you know this, but the study that was done that people always cite for the 1 in 5 number.
Was it like debunked?
No. Well, so I mean, it was a good study, but I don't know if it was. I wouldn't call it a good study, but it was a properly methodological study. But they included drunk sex as rape. So if you ever had drunk sex, you were
Well, who was raped? Just men or just women or?
No. I mean, if you filled out that, like, so they had a bunch of, hey, check if any of these ever happened to you.
Yeah.
And one of them was drunk. I mean, if one of them was, like, having sex while, significantly inebriated or drunk or whatever. And if you check that box, they interpreted that as you were raped while you were on college.
Yeah. Which, I mean, you could be, and obviously that's...
So let me ask you, Eric, were you raped on college?
I guess so. If I've had drunk sex, that makes me a rape victim. But
and so that's how they come to the 1 in 5 number,
right?
Which is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I obviously don't.
And I think like there needs to be a cultural pushback on campus because.
Good luck with that.
Like name a right wing school.
Oh,
I mean, I could actually name
Alabama. Is that right wing?
No, it's not.
Really?
It's left wing. So actually, I mean, if we're actually gonna do this, I think like George Mason, Liberty.
Okay.
That's about all I got. I'm out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
maybe Duke.
Really?
They're very Catholic. But anyways.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Like something like BYU would be then.
Yeah, or Notre Dame.
Maybe yeah.
But yeah, good on Betsy DeVos for this particular thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, especially if it's a public company, they should have to follow due process. Because, I mean, it's just like, that's how the country works. That's how the world works. You can't just accuse people of things. Because if you can, then what's stopping somebody from just accusing people from stuff and just having them expelled? Like, what's accusing the town... the townsmen to be like, well, that girl wouldn't go out with me, so she must be a witch. And it's like, nothing stopped them then. They just burned people at the stake. Now you just get, like, ridiculed at the stake, I guess.
Yep. Listen and believe leads to sociopaths being able to exploit it.
Yeah.
All right, I think that wraps it up for us, though, Eric.
Yeah, I'm pretty pooped today, especially after the Renaissance Fair, so... That was a fun fair. I think people should go. Especially they should dress up. They should especially dress up as people who actually look like they're from the Renaissance. But dude, they actually
Captain Kirk?
I forgot to say they actually have actual jousting there.
Well, they always do.
No, yeah, but I'm just saying like they actually have it's all like actual lances, actual horses.
Yeah, jousting's cool as fuck.
Yeah, we saw some people get dehorsed and it's like. You'd think they'd put some, like, padding in the armor. I don't know. Maybe they do. But, I mean, you're falling, like, 5 or 6 feet from the horse, and then you're just, like, landing on your back, probably, and, like, all this metal and stuff.
Don't you typically fall in the mud?
No, it was just dirt.
No. I mean, it's still dirt.
But it's still mud. It's still gonna, like, hurt.
No, but soft, loamy dirt or mud, will greatly reduce the impact. But, yeah, jousting's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and then on top of that, like they try to do a good job of like taking care of the horses and stuff too, which I'm a big fan of because I like me animals.
By the way, this is a minor thing, but in case you're curious, I think getting dehorsed is actually called getting horsed.
That's funny. I don't know why I think it's funny, but
it's one of those words where the meaning and the opposite are the same.
Yeah.
All right, so should we wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap this one up and get out of here and get on with our lives and our days and all that good stuff.
So I guess this has been Columbus this week, Eric. Do you have anything else to say?
Nope, just get out there and vote or something.
Vote early, vote often.
Yeah.
Go to the Renaissance Fair, vote for your king.
Yeah.
I think
vote for no, they have a queen, they don't have a king.
I think that's how a monarchy works.
Yeah, you vote for the queen there. All right, let's get out of here.
See ya.